Hey, what is up guys? Eric Thane here from Cinema Mastery, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about why I believe that pretty much everyone should create an online course. So a couple weeks ago I made a YouTube video on this channel talking about how I've made over 7 figures selling online courses for filmmakers and coaching programs and all the stuff that I've been working on over the last 5 years doing that. And I know there were some comments and some people that are like, oh, well, I'm a filmmaker, like how does this apply to me? Is this something that I should be paying attention to? Should I even listen to this? That kind of thing. And so I wanted to kind of address that a little bit, like whether you're a filmmaker and you're trying to grow your video business, or you're somebody who's interested in creating online courses and creating another business or another stream of passive income while you build your filmmaking business. I think this is an important thing, an important industry and business model for everyone to understand because it's so powerful. So I got into this about 5 years ago. And 5 years ago when I started the first Cinema Mastery, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I was actually running a video production company at the time. I was doing jobs for clients and getting work done for them, and everything was going well. We'd actually just hit about 6 figures in revenue in my video production company, and things were going well. I was actually just starting to pick up steam with some bigger clients, some higher paying clients, and things were just there was real momentum happening in my video production company. And I remember at the time I had people asking me questions like, Eric, how did you do that? How did you get those clients? How do you create that style of cinematography that you do? How do you do all of that? And at the same time, I also started noticing that the people that were out there teaching cinematography, because there were blogs and some YouTube channels, but it wasn't the same as it is now. Now there's so much content out there, right? But this was 5 years ago. It was still relatively new, the idea of teaching online. So there wasn't as much out there. And I remember just seeing some of the stuff and seeing what other people were teaching, and there was this really big emphasis on the gear, right? And post-production. And I remember reading blogs where they would take a shot that looked bad, sorry, and then they would just throw a teal and orange color grade on it, and they would say, there you go, now it looks cinematic, right? And I remember seeing that and just being like, that's not right. That's not what cinematography is. Cinematography is about the principles of cinematography and understanding how to use light in front of a camera, more so than it is about the camera that you use or the color grading or anything like that. And so I kind of started to see there was a place for me in the market, even though I felt how can I, who am I to be the one teaching cinematography? How, when there's people like Roger Deakins in the world or directors like Steven Spielberg, we're living on the same planet, how can I be the one that's teaching filmmaking to people, right? And so I had some of those concerns. But I remember realizing that I had so many people asking me questions and wanting to know how I did what I did. And I started to realize that even though, maybe I'm not the best filmmaker in the entire world, I still have a lot that I can teach people, and there's a lot that I can help people with. And certainly over the years, we have over 14,000 paying customers now that have taken our products and our programs, not to mention the millions that have viewed our free stuff. We've been able to make a huge impact on the filmmaking industry and on filmmakers, and that's so powerful. And so, I remember at the time thinking that who am I to be able to do this, and is this right, and should I do it? And I took a risk on myself and decided, I was going to try it because I saw this as an opportunity to make my mark on the industry and do something interesting. But as an entrepreneur, I also saw it as a new business opportunity, right? There's an opportunity to make money here. Now, both of those things were kind of fulfilled for me. Definitely, I was explaining a second ago, was able to make an impact on the industry, which has been really cool, and help so many people and just see their results and their successes, which is just what makes it all come together for me. But on the business side of things, I've also been able to do really well financially, to be honest. And it turns out that if you're good at something and you know how to do it for somebody and you know how to make money doing it for somebody, you can make 10 times more from teaching people how to do it. So I was running my video production company. I was making about 6 figures a year, and momentum was starting to build and things were starting to go well. But when I switched into this industry of creating online courses and coaching programs and helping people and teaching, I found out that I was able to make, more than 7 figures doing it. So that's one of the things that makes this type of business model or this type of product so amazing is that there's just so much more potential for scale. Now, it's not that you can't scale to that level as a filmmaker. It's not that you can't grow and you can't do more. Like, there's people doing amazing things in filmmaking. But I remember when I was working on set and working with clients, like, we would get a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 client. We'd go out and we'd shoot the video for them. We'd do pre-production beforehand. We'd spend hours and hours doing that. We'd go get the gear. We'd rent the gear. We'd go on set. It was usually like long hours. And, we'd be working from like 5 a.m. until like 10 p.m. or midnight sometimes on set for multiple days in a row. And I was exhausted and my feet hurt. And there were just all these things that you go through as a filmmaker. Now, I loved filmmaking. I love filmmaking, and I'm sure most of you do as well that are listening to this. But the reality is that, like, it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of me trading my time for money. Now, as an artist, I'm okay with that. It's fulfilling. It feels good to create meaningful work, to tell amazing stories, to create work that you're proud of, that you can put out there. That's incredible. But as an entrepreneur, trading time for money is one of the worst things you can do. And if you really want to grow and scale as an entrepreneur, you've got to figure out how to sell products rather than selling your time. So that was the switch that I made. And now it doesn't matter whether you decide that you're like, oh, Eric, that sounds great. I want to learn how to sell online courses or coaching programs or how to do that or how to make money online selling digital products. That's awesome. Or if you're a filmmaker and you're like, I want to learn how to scale my business and get more clients as a filmmaker, both of those can be done by selling products online. Okay, so if you're a filmmaker, you can sell products to help supplement your income and create, and they can be info products like courses and coaching programs and stuff where you can work with your clients and teach them the marketing around the video projects that you're doing, how to grow their business using video marketing, and you can sell those and make money on the side so that it can help kind of supplement that income. And then when you get a big client come through, that's awesome because then you get a chance to work with the client, you get a bigger project coming through, you make more money, and everything's fine and good. So the really cool thing about digital products is that they don't require any of your time or energy or inventory or anything. You don't have to have gear or anything like that in order to fulfill them. When somebody buys an online course or a digital product from you, it just fires an email automatically that sends the product to them, and then they're able to watch it or consume it, and then you don't have to spend any time on it, which makes it so much more scalable. As an entrepreneur, you can grow that so much bigger than you'd be able to if every single project required you to go and be on set and actually be, spending your time for the money. Now, I don't want this to sound like I'm just like talking bad about filmmaking or artists or services businesses in general. Like I said, like, I love filmmaking, and I just, the fulfillment as an artist of being on set, creating amazing work and telling stories is so profoundly impactful. But the reality is that, like, as you're being a filmmaker, and this is the way that I felt, is as I was growing as a filmmaker and I was gaining all this knowledge and getting good at it and becoming better at cinematography and getting clients and directing and all that kind of stuff. And then I would do a project, and then I would go on to the next one and make that one even better, and then kind of move on to the next one, and then becoming this craftsman. It's amazing. It's really cool. But then as an entrepreneur, there's kind of this thing inside that's like, well, what's next? Like, do we just do more projects? Do I just continue doing this for the rest of my life from project to project to project? Or do I think about, like, how can I build something that's going to last beyond me, that I can create once, that can continue to sell over time and become an asset that becomes valuable to me over a long period of time, and not just like a single project by project basis. The last thing that I think is so powerful about selling online courses, and again, for anyone, whether you're a filmmaker or you just want to share knowledge online, is that you get to share what you've learned And because you're sharing what you learned, you get to grow in a way that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. So in so many ways, since I started selling online courses for filmmakers online 5 years ago, I have become a better filmmaker than I was before I started. And it's not because I'm doing a ton of work or I'm getting a lot of experience or I'm learning, but it's because I'm actually teaching. And by teaching, you solidify the concepts. You get better at what you do. You start to understand systems and processes that can work for other people to replicate what you've been good at. And so you will start to understand what you're good at on a deeper level than you would otherwise. You know, I think it's funny that there's quotes out there that people say like, those who can't do teach, or things like that. You know, people joke around. But the reality is, like, I kind of look at it backwards as like, if you're good at doing something and you become, you know, any sort of expert at that thing, the only way you can get to another level is by then turning around and teaching somebody else how to do it. Like, you can gain certain expertise and build up your knowledge of an industry or a craft and figure out what to do and how to do it really well by yourself. But then ultimately, if you want to keep growing as an entrepreneur and keep contributing to the world and doing more and more for other people, the best way to do that is to start teaching that craft to someone else, because now you can grow along with them. It's not just about you anymore, but now you get to help other people make the same transformative shifts that you did in your life in their life. And that's what's really cool about this entire business model, is that it's not only that you get to make more money and have a more evergreen product that can sell while you're sleeping, but it's also deeply personally fulfilling because you get to grow as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's making an impact on the world and changing people's lives. I have worked with thousands and thousands and even tens of thousands of filmmakers at this point, been able to help them grow and understand cinematography, completely transform the way that they look at their work and their cinematography and their lighting, and help them grow businesses, get clients, charge higher prices, completely change their lives and allow them to do the thing that they love to do for a living. Whereas if I had not worked with these people, they may not have been able to make it happen on their own. And so the impact that I've been able to make has just been so like deeply rewarding on a personal level. And, you know, that's more powerful than any kind of, financial gain or any money that you'd make doing this, or even just having the time and the freedom, which is amazing as well. It's just being able to make an impact and being able to do so much with your life rather than just kind of working on projects just over and over and over again. So if you're someone who wants to learn how to use digital products or online courses, either as a front end for your filmmaking business, or if you just want to get into the business of selling knowledge online and this awesome, amazing business model that I think is just the best in the world, I want to invite you to come to my next event, which is happening at the link down below. It's for the Mighty Offers Live event. Click on the link to check out when the next event is happening. In the event, I'm going to be teaching my entire process for how I do this, how I started my online course business, how I'm growing it right now, how I've grown it from 0 to 6 figures, 6 figures to 7 figures, and then what I'm doing right now to grow it from 7 figures to 8 figures. I'm just kind of breaking all of that down for you. So if it's something that you're interested in and want to learn this type of business, again, whether you want to sell online courses or you want to grow your business as a filmmaker, highly recommend checking out the link down below, Mighty Offers Live, and I will see you there at the event. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below. Happy to answer them, and we'll be in touch. We'll see you on the next video.